Women of Philia, let me hear you! You sound so good. It is absolutely amazing to see you and to hear you today, to be in this room with you. I mean, let's just very quickly take a look to the left and right and the back and the front and let's the front give the back a wave. Because this, and the back, wave back, yeah, that is...
You're all beautiful, you're looking beautiful today.
It's really good to see you. My name is Becca. I'm going to let my co-compare Maggie introduce herself in a moment. You're going to see a lot of us over this weekend. We're going to see a lot of you, which is fantastic. And my background is that I run a feminist theatre company called Scary Little Girls. And I'm only mentioning it because, oh, whoa, thank you. I was not expecting that, thank you very much. And I have been doing a project this year about Greenham Common Women's Peace Camp, because that peace camp, that seminal piece of women-led activism, is 40 years old this year. Woo! If you want to find out more, we have a stall next to some other gorgeous stalls. I mean, it's all pretty fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. We've interviewed over 200 Greenham women. There's merch and chats about it all over there. Can I just quickly, before I hand over to Maggie, because that's more than enough about me, can I just have a cheer if you visited or lived at or know any Greenham women? Well, you are awesome. And it's great to be in a room where the majority of the room will cheer for that, because most people don't know about it, which is why we're trying to disseminate that awesome history. Like the fact there might be a dog in here, that is really pleasing. That has really literally, I didn't think I'd get to another level, Philia, but here I am. Let me introduce, in fact, let's have that warmth, because I have really enjoyed just talking to you. Can you please give me that warmth for Maggie?
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. If you know how difficult it is to stand here, you would give me a louder cheer than that one. Right. What a great honor to be standing here before you after what happened the past 2 years during the COVID pandemic. We could not meet in such places together. My name is Magadaline Moyo. I am from Zimbabwe, in a city called Bulawayo, in a small area called Old Magwegwe. You will learn to pronounce that. Old Magwegwe. That's where I come from. I am a human rights activist and a campaigner. Anyway, growing up in Zimbabwe, we had been suppressed for a long time until I've been able to come here in the UK. And coming here has not been easy. You'll find out from the women who are here today who are going to tell you the stories of migrant and refugee women. It's not an easy journey. So I'm here, standing tall today, speaking in front of you, women who are coming from UK, US, Canada, Australia, Tanzania, Zambia. It's because of the support I got from women like you. So we are not yet done. There are more that we still need to fight for. So I'm standing here representing them today. And by the end of the session today, you will know that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Right. I am working for an organization called Right to Remain, where we campaign and fight for refugees and asylum seekers together stay in the UK. Like I say, that it's not easy. And I've been privileged enough to work with different women because I've got experience. I know how it has been. And I felt that this is the right way to tack. This is where I want to work because I still want to fight for my fellow sisters. And am also a volunteer in Manchester where we volunteer and help women who are still in the process, lesbian, bisexual women. And this is what I stand for today. They're here with me, LISC Manchester. Thank you.
Maggie, tell us a little bit about Filia and Filia's aims, please.
Right. For some of you, I know it might be your first time to be here. And for some of you, you know already about Filia. Well, you know, what is Filia? Hands up. Filia. Right. Filia means daughter. We are the daughters of the women who come before us. And we fight so that our sisters and daughters may be free. Woo! Our aims are building sisterhood, solidarity locally, nationally, and internationally, amplifying the voices of women, especially those that are less often heard and purposefully silenced, defending women's human rights. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I just want to follow up by saying we really want to acknowledge the obstacles that everyone has had in being here today. There's a lot of things that we've all faced in the last 18 months and that we've faced even just getting into this building. And I think it's really important that we talk about that and just sit with a moment of congratulation for the people who have attended, the speakers that are here. Thank you so much. And we have had solidarity and messages of support from women who can't be here from all over the world. India, Canada, China. It's been remarkable. Japan, Germany, they're all in this, as Greenham would say, in the web, giving love and support to the women in this room, and we very much hope to see them when travel is easier next year. Let's give them a little bit of that love in the room. They're giving it to you as well. And while we're doing this, let's also say thank you to the people who've kept the whole of society underpinned. Let's thank the key workers, the nurses, the security at this very building, BSL interpreters, the speakers, people like Maggie and myself, and the organisers, and all the people on their stalls. Let's let them feel really warm in the room with the people that worked so hard for Filia and Filia themselves. Thank you. You really are blooming lovely. This is so nice. I'm going to stop waffling on now. I'm going to ask, I've been asked to introduce a woman who's going to then introduce the first speaker. And I'd been asked not to big this woman up, but I don't think I'm going to need to, because I think you are going to give her a massive round of applause. Could you please make this stage as awesome for her, if not more so than it's been for us? I give you Lisa Marie.
Hi, I just made a special request that I wanted to introduce the first speaker, and we'll come to why in a moment. But I just wanted to say it's amazing to see you all. It's that usual thing, 10 minutes before you're outside, you come in here, there's no one in here, you walk out, you come back in, and you're all here, and you look so gorgeous, and it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I want to echo what's just been said, to thank everyone and thank the volunteers particularly who make Filia happen. I mean, they really do give their heart and soul. We are volunteers, we do this on top of everything else. And just thank you to the whole team. It's the most magnificent group of women to work with. So while I'm up here, I want to take the opportunity to welcome the new women. We get emails from women saying, this is my first Filia conference, this is my first feminist conference. And I just want to say you are so welcome. And I would encourage you, I mean, look around this room. You've got hundreds of feminists here that you're going to be able to connect with and learn from. Take time to learn our history. Think about the skills that you have. Think about what you're passionate about. And then find a way to dedicate some part of your life as much as you can to the movement for the rest of your life. Okay? And say, find your niche. Find your niche. Find where you can do the best work. Someone got in touch with us saying they wanted to volunteer, and they said, I'm more of a suffragist than a suffragette. We need suffragists and we need suffragettes. We need all the voices pulling together where we can. I promise it will be exhilarating, I wrote down. I was trying to think of words last night when you join the women's liberation movement. Exhausting. Painful. Some of the things we learn about are really hard, the things that men do to women. It's really hard to hear this day in and day out. And I wonder any other words that anyone wants to throw into the mix. Frustrating, beautiful, inspiring, energizing. That will do it. Yes, that's a good one. Any others? Fun? Any others? Huh? Cathartic. Okay. Uplifting, but we promise it will be the best decision you ever make to get involved. I want to quickly say thank you to our second wave sisters as well. I hope you noticed that the posters, the banners, I mean, look at this, it's just beautiful. This was a dedication to you, and it was a thanks to you. I think the biggest trick that patriarchy pulled is getting between women, between mothers and daughters, between sisters, between feminists. And I think that intensifies when women are making gains. And over the last year or two, it's been really, I mean, the things that have been said about our second wave sisters are unforgivable, frankly. And the banners and the art are just a small way of Philia saying thank you. The feminist library, I am going to say, would not allow women to show their collections here. So this is something that we need to find a way to work through. And we will. There would have been more. I know we own them, they don't own them, and we have tried really hard, I promise. And it's something we're going to work through. There would have been more, but I hope that you get a sense that what Philia is doing is saying thank you to our second wave sisters for the work that you have done and the work that you continue to do. You are an utter inspiration, and can we please just say thank you? So I'm just going to take another minute or two. We have a Philia Legacy project. What happens is the conference goes to a different city every year. And we've been very lucky. We got funding to support sessions with women locally. And they are informed by the local women. And when we came to Portsmouth, the things that I heard over and over again were, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of county lines, there's a lot of sexual exploitation of girls. I am not heard as a woman. I am not heard as a black woman. These are the things we heard over and over and over again. And we worked with local women to create a series of wonderful events, sessions, education, consciousness raising, a book club, so on and so forth. Some of this work has been sabotaged. And I don't normally call people out, but it has been sabotaged by local people and small number of individuals, but it has been enabled by local elected officials, some local elected officials, and some of the local council, but not all. And that's really important. And I think they have shown cowardice and they are complicit in the increasing aggression shown towards local women and ourselves. And some of these things have been sabotaged. The one I feel most passionately about is for girls who are excluded from school or were excluded from school. We had a year-long program of weekly sessions with local girls who are extraordinarily vulnerable. That was sabotaged and taken away. And I hope that some of those girls get to see this film, because I'm really sorry. We tried so hard to put this on for you, and we were not able to. And I hope somehow you find a way to women's rights and to feminism, and that it will change your lives in the way that we hoped it would. I really do. So what we found was that some local women who are in this room right now, and I really am wrapping up now, were really brave. They said, no, we are going to allow local women to make an informed decision about whether to participate in these sessions or not. We believe that women have a right to make that decision for themselves, and they have a right to participate in things that will change their lives for the better. And thank you to the women in the room who are part of that. Yes, really, very brave. And our first speaker is one of those, and she's just going to spend 5 minutes talking to you about some of the stuff that they've done. And I could not be more proud to introduce Shipa. She's from the Cross-Cultural Women's Group, and I was thinking about words, Shipa, for you. Steadfast and courageous were the ones I came up with. And I would invite you all, because this has been really, really tough locally. I didn't anticipate it would be this tough. I would really invite you all to show your appreciation for Shipa, the other women locally, and the work that she's been able to bring to this city.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa Mary. She's doing an amazing job. She deserves another applause.
Okay. Right. Wow. Thank you. It's my first time here, as you can see. I'm a little bit nervous, but I can feel the love in the room and the support in the room. So thank you. And it just feels like I should be here. So good morning, everyone. My name is Shipa Ahmed Khan. I work for the local authority, and I know Lisa Marie said we had some issues locally in Portsmouth. However, there are people within the authority as well that do support, and my manager was strong enough, she was strong enough to say, no, we will go ahead with this project, so I'm very grateful to her for allowing me to do that. So I've worked in community development for over 20 years, supporting predominantly women, so I know some of the struggles that women face. As part of my role, and Lisa Marie has mentioned, I run the Cross-Cultural Women's Group. So the Cross-Cultural Women's Group is a drop-in for women from Black, minority, ethnic communities. We're involved where we try to involve them with the wider community. Prior to lockdown, at the group we've had 15, 20 women attend. It's a big group, so lots of women from diverse communities attending each week. So the group is open to all women, so in particular women that might be experiencing any difficulties, such as, you've heard it, domestic violence, poor mental health, social isolation. The group gives women the opportunity to learn. And part of this group, we offer English classes, which is really important, as well as various health talks and other topics. So many of the women attending would not have accessed formal education in the past, may never have been to school or been allowed to go to school. And that's really important to remember that point. So as you can imagine, with a diverse group of women from various different countries with different levels of English language ability, we could say that there is a language barrier within the group. However, I like to call it a language challenge. But despite these challenges, we manage to overcome these barriers or challenges because we are women. Women who support each other and empower each other to better ourselves. The women are the group, and the way we respect and support one another creates an atmosphere where all women are made to feel valued. So part of the group, we signpost and link women to other local support services to ensure that their needs are being met. So when I advertise this group, I'm very mindful to put the focus on the Cross-Cultural Women's Group as being an English language class and offering workshops around well-being. But actually, behind the scenes, we do so much more, and we support women who are going through various difficulties in their lives. And again, that's because we have to be very mindful of their home situations. A lot of partners do not wish their wives to be educated or come out and learn. So above all this, we offer a safe space for women to talk and get the right support. Over the years, we have supported and empowered many women to break away from the problems they are facing. Working at the grassroots level, often we are the first support that women will access. So before accessing any local support services, they will actually come to the group. And that's usually because they've heard from another woman the support that they've got, or just someone to talk to in a safe environment. So we were given the opportunity to work with Filia, and we were honoured with that opportunity to deliver some local projects for women. With Filia's involvement, we could really do some work that would help empower the women that we support. It was important for me that these projects didn't just work with the Cross-Cultural Women's Group, so we opened the projects up to other local women's groups and other individual women within the city who wanted to be involved. So out of this, we've set up numerous projects, one which is the book club, where we meet a local author, the author as well as read a book, and authors that reflected diversity. And I think within our communities, we don't often appreciate that actually there are a lot of women out there from different groups who are doing brilliant work, but actually we never hear of them. So it was really important that we learnt within that small group environment that actually there's more in there. We've done various courses, as Lisa Marie's mentioned, around leadership, consciousness raising, finding my voice, domestic violence, sexual exploitation, to name a few. So we wanted to do a project as well amongst all of this learning that celebrates women from different ethnic groups. Also to have a project that would be inclusive of women who couldn't access the other workshops due to their language difficulties or barriers. So the women themselves wanted to put together their own cookbook with recipes that were significant to them, something important from their culture or family. We have around 40 recipes that were from women from diverse cultures. So the cultural cookbook is still in progress. We haven't quite managed to finish it in time for the conference, but we will hopefully do so in the next couple of weeks. And as soon as that cookbook is completed, it will obviously be on the Filia networks, so you'll hear about that. So my request is that when it is out, please do support, because the money generated from that will come back into the local women's groups in Portsmouth. Just finally to add, actually, it's not in my notes, sorry, that with my years of experience, despite whatever culture women come from, when we sit together in a room, our narrative is the same. And that's not shocking. It's the same whether you're from Bangladesh, from India, from China, from African countries, wherever you're from. When we sit together as women and we talk about our issues and our problems and our difficulties that we face on a daily basis, it's the same, but our languages are different. So finally, I'd like to end by saying that a very big thank you to Filia, to all the staff, to Lisa Marie, without who and her support, actually, these projects would not have taken place, for her ongoing support. And I know Lisa Marie mentioned that there were some instances where women were stopped from being involved. I've had experience of that myself. So again, the support that Lisa Marie has supported me with that has been phenomenal. And with her support, I've been able to continue and fight for the women that don't have the voice. So once again, thank you very much, Lisa Marie. Thank you, Filia, and thank you for letting me be here today.
Thank you, Shipa. Come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Maggie, please give it up for the next speaker. Maggie?
Oh, thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you. And then we've got this wonderful woman who's coming up next. She's amazing. I'm also involved with an organization called Hearts Entwined, working with two 14-year-old twins, and we are empowering women, young girls in Africa. So when I went through checking her, where she has started to work, she has been an activist for 20 years. I was so much interested to know how old is this woman? 20 years. And I've always thought my twins are too young, you know. But after I just read about her, I was like, no, it's not too late. It's not too early for young girls to be empowered. It's not too early, especially in the days that we are living on. We need to empower them while they're still young. We need to raise feminists. We need to raise strong girls who can stand up and speak up for themselves, who are fearless. We need to raise those kind of girls, and we need to raise those girls in Africa. She's such an inspiration. Her name is Zura Bahman. She's coming from all the way from Afghanistan. We all know what is happening right now. It's not easy, it's painful, it's emotionally. Like I'm saying that some of us are talking from experience. when you are coming from your country where you have family, loved ones, and you have to leave everything there to come and adapt to a new country where you will not be welcomed as much as you would have imagined. You'll be thinking I'm coming to a better place where I'll be loved, where I'll be accepted, but you find that the immigration system is not giving you that. So I want us to give a warm welcome to Zura, and he's going to give us an update about what's happening to Afghanistan women's rights right now with every trials that are going on. Zura.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't make me cry. I heard from Lisa Marie that I could come and speak with you, and this is my second conference, and I've been involved with Philia before. And I have to say that since I spoke to her as after the fall of my city, Kabul, to the hands of the Taliban, this was something I was looking forward to, and I'm really, really pleased to be here. And I'm an Afghan woman, and I'm a proud feminist, and I believe in the sisterhood, and I believe in the global sisterhood. And I knew that at a personal level, when I would be sitting here in front of you and with you, and I would be talking to you, and I would be holding you, I would feel the comfort that I've been missing for the last couple of months. And also, a long time ago, I was watching a program about big apes, and it said that the difference between big apes, many big apes, and humans is that that big apes, each big ape has to learn everything on its own, and human beings don't have to. But I always feel like we women are made to act like big apes and learn and do everything on our own, and we're not allowed to learn from each other. We are made to be divided, and I don't want that. I want me as an Afghan woman to be part of the global sisterhood, to use the strategies that you have found useful. A little bit down, you are a little bit down the line from us in terms of your struggles, and I want us to have this shared learning so that I don't have to repeat the path that you have crossed already. As I said, I'm a feminist, and I'm an Afghan woman, and then, but professionally I work in peace building in Afghanistan, and I left Afghanistan to see my children in Uzbekistan for a small holiday, and Kabul fell. Now that was a big struggle to come to terms with that. Obviously, I lived through the previous Taliban rule. And everything you hear in the news is true and amplified quite extensively. I mean, if you imagine the few basic but really drastic losses that we've suffered include our right to get an education. Girls, this is the I think the 30th day or 29th day that Afghan girls have not been allowed to go to school from the class 6 to 12. Girls younger than that are allowed to go to school because they're considered children and not girls. Girls are going to private universities, but as a country where median age is 18, this fact that girls from the age of roughly 12 to 18 are not allowed to go to school impacts a huge number of young girls in the country. We also cannot go to work. I'm happy to go back to my country. I am working in Afghanistan right now, and I'm waiting to be able to go back. Some women have fought for and gained the right to work in certain areas, so they can work as doctors and midwives. They can work providing humanitarian aid to women, to other women, but women like me, women that threaten, women in positions of leadership, women working to bring about peace and work or be in spaces which is not seen as women's spaces, they're still not allowed to work, and we are working on it. With work, we have to remember that in Afghanistan, it's not only the Taliban that tell women not to work, but a lot of international organizations have decided that it's easier to just now recruit men to fill in vacancies. And a lot of families have also decided that even though some of the women, members of their family, are allowed to work, like teachers and doctors, that it's much better for their own good to not work and stay at home. So let's make sure that we do not reduce the Afghan women's problems to the behavior and the policies of the Taliban. The other thing is around activism. We are seeing a lot of women's activism, but the cost for women's activism has suddenly risen. What we see, the visual sort of narratives that we see on TV where women are pushed, women are hit on the streets, that's one side of things. It's the constant psychological violence that goes through that women activists are facing in Afghanistan that really bothers me. The other thing we've lost is all of our protection infrastructure. So we really fought, we were on the streets asking for Violence Against Women's Act, and that was passed. Despite the parliament not passing it, it was actually passed by the presidential decree because the parliament didn't agree with it, the society didn't agree with it. The society did not agree with violence against women being a crime. And we pushed for it. Afghan women pushed for it, and that was one of our biggest achievements of last 20 years of democracy. We also made sure that there was a structure that went with it. We trained a generation of prosecutors and lawyers and judges to actually use this law in support of women. We made sure that these prosecutors' offices existed in small, faraway provinces, and suddenly those structures don't exist anymore. Those laws don't exist anymore. So if we are faced with violence, if we're faced with any harassment and so on, we don't have the infrastructure to protect us, and we don't have women in those infrastructures to protect us. See, I knew I was either going to fall or break something while I was here. Yeah. I have a minder as well that's timing me, so I'm really nervous. So this is a general situation of Afghan women. But as I said, the important point I would like to make here is that the situation of Afghan women is not necessarily about what the Taliban are doing to Afghan women. If tomorrow the Taliban disappear off, like they did 20 years ago, we will still have significant problems. Now, this doesn't mean that the Taliban are okay to be there, they are one of the many problems that we need to solve. Some of the issues we have is this victim narrative around Afghan women, which I really have a big problem with. Various people come and try and rescue us. The Taliban's narratives around Afghan women is that us Afghan women are entrapped by feminists, which is you lot, and they're here to rescue us from this horrible ideology of feminism and women's rights and development. Because, of course, they would keep us like princesses sitting at home and, just looking after our babies and not have to do the horrible sort of work outside the house and being independent, having our own income and all that. But the same victim mentality is being fed by the international community. It's really interesting that in Afghanistan, billions and billions and billions of dollars is spent on Afghan women's rescue, and we are seen as the victim of the men in our community and the victim of our culture. However, that money is spent in a way that keeps us as a victim. I'm very hard to work with in my own country because I don't fit into that narrative. So what the international organizations do is to then classify me as non-Afghan. They classify me as not Afghan enough. And they're very vocal about it, and they say things like, well, you're not really in touch with your community, but Afghan women don't dress like this, but Afghan women don't look like this. And by virtue of, by doing that, they exclude me from decision making and so on. And the way their structures work, so big international organizations, their structures work like this, that vast majority of Afghan women are victims and they want to support them. Some Afghan women provide technical support, so they are running programs and projects. But at the leadership, there's always a non-Afghan, preferably a man. And within that system, we are made to be middle management at best, and we are never allowed to manage and to make decisions. And when you're middle management in those organizations, and I've spent my entire career working at middle management in those organizations, then what happens is that you have to constantly educate your boss about the nitty-gritty of your community. And that's such a big waste of time, because your boss then collects all the information and makes a decision, but then you cannot give them the entire lived experience of Afghan women. So a lot of bad decisions are made. I worked in an organization which had policies that Afghan women could not move ahead of this. And the remit and the mandate of the organization was emancipation of Afghan women. So we have to really question this moving forward. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is what can you do? First of all, see us in a dynamic way. Afghan women have been doing quite a lot of amazing activism. Now, activism is obviously a spectrum. So we have seen women, very brave women, going into the streets and raising their voices. But then there are other women, and remember them as well. During the first time the Taliban were there, we tend to say that, oh, during the Taliban time, Afghan girls and boys did not get an education. They did get an education. It was the Afghan women inside their homes that basically created the education system, and they sustained it in many places for up to 5 years. So when the schools started, everybody just went in and rejoined the formal education system. And Afghan women are doing that already. We're creating employment. A friend of mine has just set up an alternative sewing project for women who were kicked out by the international NGOs for being women and doing small jobs with them because they cannot keep them secure. So support those kind of efforts of Afghan women. We are actively fighting. We are not necessarily waiting to be rescued. And in terms of practical help that you can support us with, please try and fight against this divide and rule thing. I really believe in that sisterhood, as I said earlier. I feel closer to you, and you should feel closer to me than others that decide on our relationship. And please talk. Please talk. You're not, when I am not physically there, first I should be physically there, my sister should be physically there. But if we are not, then you are able to talk on our behalf. You are able to raise our issues. And then, of course, we have differences. Afghan women are not one group. We are a diverse group of people. So please, be mindful of that as well. We may not agree, but it is really important that we agree on this basic woman level. The other thing, as I said, was money. And the last thing I want to say is self-care. Being here is part of my self-care. Sometimes I feel like for people like Afghan women or any other women from Myanmar right now, I was talking with some of them, and they felt the same. And sometimes we are forced to live the trauma continuously. But we want to sometimes get out of that trauma and recuperate, even as that trauma is sort of continually being inflicted on us. So if you can, especially with those that are being evacuated to the UK, there's going to be about 2,000 or 20,000 or something, I forgot, there's so many numbers in my head right now. So as the people come in, don't separate them into a trauma-related practical kind of groupings necessarily only. Make sure that they join the mainstream. Make sure that they can be in spaces where they can sing or where they can perform or where they could be silly as well, because we have to look after ourselves, and I feel like sometimes we are not provided with that opportunity. I think my few minutes are past, so I'll just take okay, I'm so nervous with the timing. 1 minute. So in 1 minute, I want to say that in the last 2 months, I've been speaking with lots and lots of people, not as amazing and wonderful as you, mostly bureaucrats. Bureaucrats. And I've been answering lots of questions. And I know that you have a lot of questions, and I would much prefer to answer your questions, but I know that I've taken up a lot of space here. So I'll be in the cafe around lunchtime. I've got my lunch in my bag. So if you have any questions, you feel free to come to me. A lot of people have already come to me to say, where can I donate a $5 and knowing that that $5 is going to get to an Afghan woman in Afghanistan. I have some ideas for you as well. I work for a giant organization, so maybe you don't want to donate to that, but we've got small women-led initiatives that you can donate to that I can share the information. So thank you so much, and I genuinely love you all, but above all, I love Lisa Marie.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. My name is Lisa Marie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Right. We have a nice setting here. As you see, we have a beautiful setting. You are about to be served starters, main course, desserts, you name it, Irish coffees. Can I ask the ladies to come up front, please?
Women.
You are about to be served something nice.
Welcome up, women. Here you come. Woo! I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. But while they set up, you can see behind me, just to give just a little bit of filler for you, while the wonderful women are getting themselves ready. I noticed that there's been one woman who'd be very pleased to get to her drum, because the same drum has been kicked off the end of that chair twice. And each time this poor woman has been like, it personally hurt her through her very being. It was awful, which I understand. So these are your sessions for later. You probably know them already. You're probably signed up. But I'm just letting you have a good look there. I'm really excited. I don't know how you chose, because it looks amazing. So good luck with all that. But I'm sure whatever you see, you're going to get a huge amount from it. So this group, I'm going to use their name last to get a massive cheer from you when I use it, okay? But I want to tell you a tiny bit about them. They were established in 2017 under Ozin Mazabodi, who was working with deaf London students, and it's the only deaf group in the UK. And despite the problems and issues and limitations that exist for Iranian women, especially, of course, in the field of music, this group has endeavoured to showcase Iran's musical heritage with public performance and events like the thing you're going to witness now. Look at them all, just ready and gorgeous. Yeah, this is amazing. I'm quite excited just standing in front of all this powerful female energy. You're going to see something amazing, because their wonderful leader has trained for years under Iran's great masters, including Sodeg Tarif, Mehrdad Karem Haravi, and Bijan Komkar. So what we're going to see here is remarkable. Please let me hear all the love, all the energy, all the amazing time you're about to have at this Philia Festival, this absolutely amazing conference, as I give you the fabulous Diyaar!
Azin Marzabadi, I'm very pleased to be here. Diyaar is made up of my students of Diyaar, a traditional Persian percussion. We come from a country where there are harsh restrictions for women, especially in music. We are here today to perform pieces from our rich Iranian heritage. One of the pieces has been written by Maestro Mehrdad Karimkhavari, for which we are grateful. We hope you enjoy our performance.
Come on, one more. Massive, massive. I'm privileged to ask you to give it up for Diyaar. Woo!